All right, guys, here's a real quick lesson on remote interior angles of a triangle and their properties. So if I start with a triangle here, that's not a triangle at all. If I got my triangle here, we have three sides, we have three vertices. All of these angles we would call interior angles, all right? So interior angles are the three angles inside the triangle. So I'm talking about remote interior angles. Well, there has to be a little bit more going on to have remote interior angles. And what happens is if we extend one side of a triangle, what we do is we create an exterior angle. And we can do this at every vertex. So we can have these three exterior angles. Now, technically, and I don't want to confuse you too much, technically I could extend either side and create an exterior angle a different direction like that. But you never really see that. When you, like if I asked someone in math, hey, how many exterior angles does a triangle have? They're going to say 3. We only count 1 per vertex. So you can draw either one. It doesn't matter which one you draw. For instance, like if I wanted to, I could shift gears over here and I could have drawn it this way. That's fine. It doesn't matter which one you draw, but we only say 1 per vertex. And they're the same size because if I do draw the other one, you'll notice that they're vertical angles. So they are the same size. They're the same angle for our purposes. So we have 3 interior angles, and each interior angle has 1 exterior angle. And those 2 angles are a linear pair. So we know that 1 interior angle plus 1 exterior angle will always add up to 180. So we have an interior plus an exterior, that equals 180. Okay, so what is a remote interior angle? Well, I'm going to number these angles off. I'm going to call this angle 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to call the outside ones 4, 5, and 6. And what does remote mean? Remote means isolated or far away. So if I choose any of the exterior angles, let's say I choose angle 4 here, the remote interior angles would be angles 2 and 3. The one next to it is not remote. Remote doesn't mean next to. Remote means away from. So 2 and 3 are away from. They're on the inside. They're called remote interior angles. So these would be the 2 remote angles for angle 4. Okay. Now if I switched gears and I said angle 6, what are the remote angles for angle 6? Well, that would be angles 1 and 2. Again, 3 is the one that's next to it. Angle 3 and angle 6 have to add up to 180. They're a linear pair, but that is not a remote situation. All right, so what is the rule for remote interior angles? Let's figure that out. Oh no, where'd my 6 go? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the thought process, okay? Let's call these 3 angles on the inside, well, they're called angles 1, 2, and 3. So we know that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 is 180 degrees. 3 angles inside of a triangle must add up to 180 degrees, right? And we're going to focus on angle 4 up here. So what are the 2 remote angles for angle 4? It's angle 3 and 2. So what is something we know for sure regarding angle 4? We know that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 4 also has to equal 180 degrees. How do I know that? Well, an I and an E, if they're side by side, right? What is an I plus an E if they're a linear pair? This is only if they're a linear pair. Linear pair. They're going to add up to 180. They form that line. So I know those have to add up to 180. Well, both of these things add up to 180. So what I can do is take this part and plug it in for 180. I can say that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 has to equal the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 4. They have to be equal. They both equal 180. That means they're equal to each other. All right, well, if that's true, can I just eliminate or subtract the measure of angle 1 from both sides? Yeah, and what I get is the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 equals the measure of angle 4. Woo! And that's our whole theorem here. And we're going to call those remotes. And the basic property is that remote interior angle plus remote interior angle equals the exterior angle. That's the rule. That's the rule. Remote plus remote has to equal E. So if we were to make this situation again, we've got a triangle. If we were to extend the side, so I'll show you two versions, one with numbers, one without. If I knew that this angle here was 70 and this is 30, I could know instantly that this is 100 degrees. These are the remote angles for this spot, and we just said that remote plus remote equals E. This would be remote, this would be remote, this would be my E. Nice. Why did I erase all that? If I extended another direction, if I went this way, if that's 70 and that's 30, that's 100, this would have to be 80, right? Well, what are the two remotes for that corner? 70 and 80, this one would have to be 150. And if you notice, I've got this 80. Well, don't those have to add up to 180? That checks out. Don't those have to add up to 180? That checks out. So you don't actually have to use this property if you know the numbers, because can't you always just find that missing angle and then do a linear pair? You could. You could. So the real issue happens when you don't know the actual values. So if I have a triangle here, I extend this side. I'm going to make up some numbers. It may not be super pretty, but let's say this is like 2x plus 10. And this is x plus 5. And over here, we know that this angle is... no. What just happened? 5x minus 21. I'm just totally making something up. No idea what's going to happen here. So what's the rule? Well, this would be really hard to do if you didn't know the new rule. The new rule says that remote plus remote has to equal E. So remote plus remote, if I add those together, 2x plus 10 plus x plus 5 has to equal the exterior angle 5x minus 21. Clean that up, that'd be 3x plus 15 has to equal 5x minus 21. So 2x has to equal 36. X is 18 degrees on this problem. If I check that out, let's test it, see if it works, plug it in. If x was 18, 18 plus 5 is 23. That'd be 36, that would be 46. 18 times 5 would be 50, 40 be 90, minus 20 be 70, that'd be 69. And so 46 plus 23, does that equal 69? Checks out. If I had gone the other way, if I had found this angle first, 46 plus 23, that's 69. 180 minus 69 is 111. And then you're going to do 180 minus 111 to get back to this. So it checks out no matter how you do it. But if you didn't know this rule, this would be a really hard problem.